Hello Tube. Look at this little star of this show. It's a PowerMac G4 MDD, which stands for mirrored drive doors, which is, well, kind of obvious. I mean, like, it's totally mirrored. Ooh, it's shiny. So, yeah. Of course, there's a drive back there. A Blackstar DVD RW drive. So it's a super drive model. Got speaker up here. Some, probably fan grills of sorts. Looking pretty neat. Overall, this casing is pretty much in, almost in mint condition, I'd say. No real damage. Here's of course the power supply, the various expansion slots, which are pretty much flipped compared to the older models like the Quicksilver and the Sawtooth and the derivatives thereof. So yeah. So we still got an ADC port in VGA, because this particular thing has a ATI Radeon 7500, which is a very odd card for a 2003 model MDD. The reason I know it's a 2003 model is because, well, it had only a single CPU in its base model. So it's a 1.25 GHz G4. Got two USB ports there, 1.1, Firewire 400, Gigabit Ethernet, modem, headphone jacks, and down there is a Wi-Fi antenna port. Those antennas are pretty darn rare. You can barely find them. But yeah, so it's an MDD. I've never actually owned one of these machines, so they're pretty nice actually. They're loud as all hell, but you know, pretty capable machines, I'd say. Here's still a spot for the classic airport card, the big one for wireless B. Here is a new PRAM battery that I ordered. That's good. Got all kinds of PCI slots here. They might even be PCI X, I'm not fully sure. And don't really care anyway. So yeah, this is that ATI Radeon 7500 card. Here's the heatsink for the CPU. And there is some RAM installed down there. 1.5 gigs of DDR memory. I've chosen 1.5 gigs for a very specific reason, and that's that this machine is still capable of running OS 9 natively. 9.2.2. It will run it. Which is interesting. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm still rocking 1.5 gigs and not 2 gigs on this machine. Because OS 9 can only address up to 1.5 gigs of RAM. So, got two hard drives installed. Only one is currently hooked up. It's an 80 gig Seagate drive, which is original to this machine. And the other is a 60 gig Hitachi Death Star, which is rather loud. The loudest thing, however, is this massive case fan right here. But yeah, so I already talked about the optical drive, and this is the power supply up here, which is made by Ekbel, like in every other single G5. The only problem with these is, though, that the power supplies go, but that's pretty much the only thing that ever goes wrong in the MDD. But yeah, they're pretty loud, so you really have to install your own fans if you want to make it quiet. Oh, and by the way, I forgot, there's this nice headphone jack here on the front, and of course, a very shiny power button. So that's the hardware side of things. Let's move to the software. It is in fact running Mac OS X. And I still have to install Mac OS 9. But let's take it for a test drive, shall we? Okay, we're good to go. I think. There we go. Not a bad sounding speaker at all. Let's turn on this display because my main display does not have a VGA cable hooked up. I'm not going to either. Not just yet, at least. Here comes the signal. There we go. Here's to give you an idea on how noisy this thing really is. And remember, that's idling. By the way, it already booted up. It's that fast. It's actually really, really fast. But yeah, I installed a new PRAM battery, so it was nagging a little bit there. There we go. 1.25 GHz PowerPC G4 with a meg of L3 cache. 1.5 gigabytes of DDR RAM. The Windows System Profiler here. So running at DDR333 speeds. So yeah, I kind of have to install a USB 2.0 card in this machine in order for it to be usable. I need to up the screen resolution a little bit, but this is pretty good so far. It does support Quartz Extreme apparently, this 7500. I will be upgrading it to GeForce 3 Ti. I think I flashed one for a video before, but I actually released that video because the system that I put it in, which basically a gigabit Ethernet model, simply could not power the card. The power supply just didn't have the wattage to drive it at full speed. Had some problems with it. So yeah, that's the PowerMac G4 MDD on Tiger, and I need to install macOS 9 and get everything up and running. Should be a nice little machine. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or whether it's actually going back to my girlfriend. It really depends on whether she can fix up a G5 that we picked up. So I thought you in on the story for a little bit. She found an ad online that contained 2 PowerMac G5 models that were sold as defective because they couldn't test them. So yeah, let's turn it this way. That's one of the G5s. That's a G5 quad that has an empty water loop. Had one of those infamous Delphi water cooling systems in it, and that system is totally dead now. The logic board though is not damaged or corroded, it seems, so there's good hope that a rebuild of the water cooling system and reseating of the CPUs or even replacing of the CPUs will in fact bring it back to life. Logic board seems okay, but the CPUs and the water blocks seem not. So the other G5 was a 1.8 GHz dual model from 2004. That one is at her place at the moment, and she's testing it out to see if she can get it back up and running. It wouldn't post at first and keep complaining that there was no memory installed, but that was just due to my idiocracy not taking a proper look at how the memory should be arranged in what way they mean that you have to pair it up. That's what you get when you don't color code your slots for the dual channel mode. So screw you, Apple, for that. But yeah. After that we had the problem that it simply would not boot from anything. I even made a topic on the Linus Tech Tips forums, as well as on a local website for tech enthusiasts. And so far no real results, so I ordered the PRAM for that Mac as well. That's being tested as we speak. Because what that system would do, it would just turn on, give the chime that would successfully initialize all hardware, and as soon as it hits the boot device, boom, Apple screen comes up and it hangs. And there's nothing you can do about it. You cannot enter single user mode, you cannot enter verbose mode, you cannot enter safe mode, you can't enter the Apple hardware test because we don't have disks. So that's all fun and games. So we're really hoping we can get that G5 fixed up because I have a soft spot for G5s. If we can get one on the cheap, then that's great. If they all turn out to be scrap, then that's pretty much fucked, and I'm gonna have to track down another G5 because now I've seen one again, I used one again, I want one again. I really regret selling that dual 2 GHz model that I made a video about a long time ago, because that thing had everything. It even had the rare Wi-Fi antenna. It had everything, seriously. I put so much effort in that thing, and then I had to sell it because I didn't have space at the time. I needed some money. Oh, do I regret that decision. But yeah, this G4 was also in that garage box that we picked it up from. At least it looked like that. It was a total dump. They also had an iMac G3, but we didn't bother. We decided to pick this MDD up for a tenner and went for it. And as you can see, this G4 is absolutely working just fine. This is really one screaminal MDD. But yeah, that's the whole story about the MDD and the G5s. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for more PowerPC goodness, I think. Yeah, at least more Mac stuff, that's for sure.